Or you're self-employed and you want to pivot to 9 to 5. Raise up your hand. Pastor, I don't know where you are. Pivoting from to. Okay, so we have. Okay, so you want to pivot to being self-employed from being and you want to pivot to being self-employed as well. Okay, so that's good to know. All right, so I don't know who's responsible for the slides, but let's look at what we're speaking on today. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so we're going to be looking at what the title or the theme of the conference is Launchpad. And I remember, like, I graduated 2019, so it's like 7 years ago now. Exactly 7 years ago. And I feel like, just to give you a backstory about myself, um, at the age of 9, right, entering into secondary school, I wanted to become a chartered accountant. Very simple terms. I remember filling my GS1 essay of what do you want to be in the future, and I put I want to become a chartered accountant. Very simple. So I knew from the very beginning, it's the same way I'm sure everybody in this room, you have an idea of what you want to be. For example, I knew that I was not called to be a medical doctor. Neither was I called to be an engineer. Like from the get-go, and I'm sure everybody here has an idea. If you are in the art space, you know that you're not called to be a doctor, you're not called to be an accountant. So you have an idea. I agree that we all have ideas, yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. So I entered into secondary school, I want to become a chartered accountant. And then GS1, GS2. But by GS2, I don't know if Ayo can remember, we had a very, very wicked business studies teacher. Wicked, I changed my career focus in life. I said I'm not doing. I've actually been serious. And at that point I started thinking of I cannot be an accountant because she was the one teaching accounting, she was the one teaching commerce, she was the one teaching everything. And so I'm like, I can't. So I started thinking, what do I now become in life? So I went to Miss Amanda. I don't know what to do. I can't become a chartered accountant again. So she's like, I know you like reading books. Maybe you become a journalist, or you become a lawyer, or you. Well, anyways, we started thinking of what I would do. So I entered into SS1, actually not knowing what to become in life. To be very honest. So SS1, I signed up to go into art class. So you guys know we have commercial, science, whatever. So I signed up to go to art class. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I want to do in life, but I know what I like. I like government, I like CRS, I like literature. So I went into art class and I was doing well. Thank God. But luckily, someone say luckily for me, she left the school. So I was not saying, I've already told them that I'm in art class. I cannot change my mind and now say I'm going back to commercial class. But thank God for favor, I started sitting in accounting class. So basically, the guy will chase everybody out. It's time for accounting. Well, I'll just say, can I sit at the back? And he would say yes. I sat at the back, and from there, I'll just do the assignments. I just feel like doing it, and he would mark it. And then I started sitting in commerce class, and then I started sitting in further math class. And so I now became the girl in secondary school that was doing both art and commercial. But then it was time to write WAEC and JAM. I'm giving you a backstory about myself just so you understand. It was time to write what WAEC and JAM, and they're like, okay, what do you want to be? At that point in time, I did not want to become a chartered accountant again. Right? So you say this smart girl, she does not know what to do. So I went and I spoke to my government lecturer that, I have like deep passion for Nigeria. I like government. We are teaching and thinking of the constitution. I want to change the world. Cannot put change the world in your jam from now. So he gave me this newspaper of previous central bank governors of Nigeria. True story. And it's like, go and study the newspaper. And then, if you see a common trend, like let's know because we want to change the world, we want to change Nigeria, da da da. And so I went and I saw majority of them actually study economics. So I came and like, I will study economics in university because I want to become the first female central bank governor of Nigeria. Actually, honest truth, this is how I I don't want to study university. And so I did put in university for my jam and got into commerce university. And then I graduated. But then I'm currently in my phase of life now where I actually don't know again if I want to become the first female central bank of Nigeria. Not that it's not attractive. I just feel like time has evolved and I've gotten to myself. So I'm here, I'm doing all of this education, da 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 da. I might still become the first female central bank governor of Nigeria, but I'll actually just marry the president of Nigeria. One of them will happen. I will change the Lord. Praise the Lord. Why did I share this backstory? It is to say that nobody, I can promise you, nobody has a clear, this is what I want to do, this is how I will get there. It's super clear. Everyone has an idea. Knows what to do now, but we're taking it one step at a time. And so for me, success at the end of my teachings that we talk today is to actually open your eyes to what is in front of you. And if you don't already know, help you figure out that idea, that destination you're going to. Because trust me, every single day you wake up, the most important thing is you making sure that you are taking a step towards this monster. Are we on the same page? So let's go back to slides. Next slide. We do this from here. Like, basically, we've spoken about this. A map to where you're going. And I'm very serious about that. Which is why I asked that, okay, so how many people here, you're in the business space, you want to start a business, or you're currently running your business, right? I'm sure a majority of you, and I want to say that for that business that it is you have started, it is because you strongly believe that there is something in it, right? If, let's say, I know someone is a hairstylist, it's probably because you see maybe a different care on Instagram and you're like, there's a way I can build towards becoming a different care. Or you're probably a fashion designer and you see Vicky James and like there's something there. But you don't know how to go from where you are today to becoming the better than Vicky James or better than different care. How exactly do you get there? So you don't need the map, right? You need the destination, which is what everybody, if you don't already have a destination in mind, start thinking of it. What is your destination? The destination of Kidade Shayo is going to become a human being that number one, every single thing she's doing is impacting the country as a whole. Which is why I will tell everybody I work in a global consulting firm. But if all I do is become a management consultant, I would not be fulfilled in life. It's a very, I'm bold to say it to the MD CEO of BCG Global, right? And because it was asked that he doesn't know why people are leaving BCG, blah blah blah. And I think of it this way: what's your name? Mention his name. I say if you go on the street today and you just mention your name, does anybody know you? Like imagine, so you go on the street today, does anybody know you? It's like no. I'm like you go on the street and you mention Barack Obama or you mention whatever. It's like just like do people know? It's like yes, that's why someone leave BCG because there's some people, which I think I'm part of the cell, that fulfillment in life is more than just a great job, a great money. Listen, it's not part of it, but you need to have a destination in mind. And then you figure out how everything you're doing today, whether it's your job, whether it's your business, how do they take you closer to your destination? So I'm very grateful that I have my job today, but I'm not losing sight of my destination, which is why you would see me come to teach about career because there's proof of success in it. Praise the Lord. So now, let's look at the 5 principles that can help you move from where you are today to your destination that can effectively help you compound. Number one is grow intentionally. Number one is what? Grow intentionally. And what does this mean? It means that there must be a purpose for everything you're doing. I promise you today, if it's your business you're doing, let there be a purpose, let there be a goal towards it. An example of a goal can be I'm currently in this phase of life where my monthly income from my business is 50K per month. I'm setting a goal for myself that in 2 years' time, we're going to hit 100, let's be ambitious, 1 million per month. What this helps you to do is you move from a place of there's no job in Nigeria, there's nothing in Nigeria to how can I make this business 1 million per month? And you start thinking of okay, literally like the structure at work. You say, okay, business is what? Revenue minus cost or profit. Okay, how can I increase the revenue of this business to get to 1 million? I need more clients. What do I need to do to start getting more clients? I need to talk to people. Where do I need to go to start talking to people? Like, maybe you are intentional about what the goal is, either it's for your business or it's for your career, you're moving forward. An example is you get a job today and you're saying, okay, I don't know if this job is for me. I study sociology. Should I work in pharmacy? Or I'm just getting a job in a bank. How does it really relate? The Bible would say, whatever your hand finds doing what? If it's the Bible. Common quotes. Whatever your hand finds doing what? You need to ask yourself, how does this bank job take me forward to my destination? I study sociology. I'm currently working in the bank, but what's my goal? My goal is that by year two, I have built my what? My financial modeling skill. I have built my communication skill. I have built my LinkedIn profile to now be 1,000 people. Like, every single thing you are doing, there must be a goal in mind. It's going to be very wrong, I promise you. For you to go into a job or have a business and you're just moving like, I don't know how to pound the idea, but you cannot live life without a goal, I promise you. If you are getting a job, in your current job, what is the goal? Because you would see that that's why, and it's very sad that I speak to a lot of older people. I'm currently a children's church teacher, and there are a lot of older people there. Oh, okay, I'll just go to work 10 years in this organization, and all they're thinking is, you want to increase salary. They've not increased. Like, there's no, in 5 years, I want to get this out of this job. In 10 years, I want to get this out of this job. Do you understand? Because your time is your life, whether you like it or not. Am I making sense? And your job, they are getting, like, whether you like it or not, they are getting things out of it. Every day you go there, they're like, you have to give this deliverable to the manager, and you have to give this to the client, and you have to give this to that. So every single day, the job is taken out of you. At the end of the month, they give you salary in return. But what are you getting out of this job? Your job, your first job, by the way, doesn't need to be a perfect job. But you need to know what you are getting out of the job. And so people would ask me, should I take this job or not? What is your destination? Who wants to share? I don't know if there's anyone that has like a practical. I want to make this as practical as possible. So you think of, everybody has a destination, yes or no? Everybody has a destination, yes or no? But you are here thinking of, okay, how do I get from here to my destination, yes or no? I'm saying that whatever your hand finds, do it well. But you need to make sure that in whatever you are doing, you have clear goals of how it takes you towards your destination. Does that make sense? Goals can be, in 2 years, I want to, maybe your destination is become a public speaker. Shola, by the way. I know how to go from NYSC graduate doing my PPA to, I don't know, Shola, better than Shola. But what does Shola communicate well? So my job is that, my goal is that in 6 months, I want to what? To be a very effective, speaker, right? So my goal is what? I want to be a very effective speaker. That's my goal in this job. And so what do I do? If I'm a teacher, every day I make sure I'm part of the assembly. I'm literally speaking to 100 students every day. Some people will say, this is over Sabi Copper, but you have a goal in mind. And so on YouTube, they'll say, okay, I have no experience. Everything your hand finds to do it well. But just make sure that whatever it is you find doing, there is a goal driving you. You're at a bank, you're in a school, you are helping your parents' business. What do you want to get out of that job or out of that business? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let's move on to our next point. So the first point is what? Grow intentionally. It means set a goal, set a career goal, set a personal goal, set a financial goal, whatever that might look like for you. Number two is take every job with a goal. I think we spoke about this already. Number two is quality is missing. Quality what is missing? And I don't know how many of us know what trended on LinkedIn this week with the Money Point CEO coming to say, oh, I have 500 jobs and there are no quality people. The sad truth is a lot of people did not watch the full video. And so they were just judging the guy based on like probably a 1 minute clip. But I think his point was, if you look at Nigerian youth, there are not a lot of mentors or aspirational people to look at. You probably have your, I don't want to say they're bad, but you have your TikTokers and Instagram influencers and Yahoo boys and the rest that come over Instagram to say, this is me, and everyone wants to be like that. But How many of people actually say, this is how I built, this is what I've built? Just people sharing their stories. That's fine. But I work in a place where there's actually a talent gap today, whether we like it or not. We go to school teaches us maths and English, but would you really say that when you get to a job, when you get to a new place, you bring your best foot forward? So I'm asking all of you now, right? Imagine those are working 9 to 5. You get a job in Dangote refinery as the manager of whatever. If you are interested in people, manager of HR. If you're interested in engineering, manager of refining. Would you really say that you are qualified for that job? So we don't need to answer me, but would you really say that? And so for me, what exactly is the advice? There are two things. If you really want to go fast, scale your career, you need to do two things. You need to know your hard skills and your soft skills. Hard skills is, what exactly am I doing? Am I good at it? Be honest with yourself. So you're a hairstylist today. Am I really good at this thing? Don't lie. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to yourself. You're an engineer today. Am I really good at this thing? Or do I go to work with, what they ask me to do? Okay, 5 things, I will do it. But would you really say that I'm good at this job? And a personal story is like, I can come and say all of this. I feel like God took me through Wayo so that my testimony will be here. I almost got sacked at my job. There's no need to lie, right? Because I joined as a consultant, as an associate, and I just went into it with, okay, I'm a first class graduate like you guys. The hottest kid in town. And like, it's a very competitive environment where your best is the starting point. Have you been in that place where all of you are first class graduates? All of you went to CU or Harvard or Yale or Oxford, and you that used to be the shining star in Alagbado, you are now the, literally was that type of environment. And I would just go, just do my work. And they literally had a conversation with me, like, in simple terms, like, you don't like the job. If you don't do well, you're going to be sacked. It's a very simple thing in our work. There's no need to play up and down. It's either you get promoted or you get sacked. There's no in between. And so I had to say, okay, do I even want this job? That's when I started asking myself, what do people want from me? I'm here every day. Do you want to kill me? My mom said, choose. If you want to stay there, you need to understand, and if not, leave. It's very simple. But it was at that point I started asking myself the question of, am I actually good at this job? What does it take to be good at this job? So you're a pharmacist today, you're a hairstylist, or you're a fashion designer. Would you really say if Dangote's wife, I don't know why I'm using Dangote, or if Bill Gates' wife should give you a clothes, she'll be very impressed with what you deliver? If the answer is no, then you see that maybe there's some problem with Nigeria, but you're also part of the problem. Do you understand? In whatever it is, are you really, you say, I am great at the job? If you can't say that, then there's assignment for you. So that's the hard part of things. And then there's the soft part of things, which I think both of them is necessary. Problem solving. How's your approach to problem? Okay, you are working in a place, or you are a hairstylist. NEPA has not brought light for the past, or a code disco has not brought light for the past 2 months. This Nigeria, so I cannot wait to talk about Canada. There's no light. There's no road. What is the way forward? Do I need to maybe move my shop to a new place? Do I need to beg my neighbor to say, this is your inverter? Can we be using it together? I cannot buy inverter now, but I can promise to be paying for this. What is the way forward? Problem solving. Number 2 is what? Practicality and effectiveness. Meaning, if I give you this my week to say, you are going to help me style it, and you promise me Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Or it's Tuesday, ma, you don't know what happened to me on my way back. And they stole my father, and they stole my mother. Come next week. So you see that at the end of the day, I'm not saying that there are no issues outside, but are we dealing with issues inside? Number 3 is what? Communication. So you say you want to be a global star, you want to be a global brand. How are you able to train yourself and communicate effectively? If you should go to the president now, are you able to pick up the microphone and deliver a good note without a lot of and the rest? I'm not saying we're to be perfect. I'm just saying that for us to prepare ourselves for the opportunities on our way to our destination, there is a lot of personal development that needs to start happening, with or without a job, with or without a business. So you're looking to get a job, you're looking to start your own business, but it doesn't take you 5 minutes to go and say, I want to actually be a good speaker. I want to actually able to speak to the crowd. I want to actually be able to learn pattern drafting. I want to be the best at bidding. I don't know if I'm making sense, right? And then there are other things around what? Role modeling, team building, etc. So let's move on to principle number 3. I have 5 things. Number 3 is what? Build your spectrum. Build your spectrum. And what does this mean? It means that there are several things, right? There are several things that you want to do. For example, Fitade Shayo wanted to become central bank governor of Nigeria, but she not necessarily know what to study. So it's okay. I could study economics, I could study accounting, I could study several things. But what's my spectrum of opportunities? I want to eventually land in, I don't know, I want to make this very practical. Who wants to share with me your destination? Actually, I need 2 people if you don't mind. Someone from the 9 to 5 and someone from the self-employed. What's your destination? If you don't call, stand up, I will call. I teach 6 children, so I know how to call them. If you don't raise up your hand, I will call you. Yes, please. Thank you. No, she ready. She volunteered. What's your destination? I actually just want to, if you don't mind, do you want to come out? What's your destination?
So I for 2 years before entering to firm, I worked in influencer marketing. So I did a lot of communication between brands and influencers, content creators, and I noticed a gap in the Nigerian market. So I'm still thinking about it, like I'm still working on it. So to have like an influencer marketing platform, so serving as a bridge between content creators who are finding it hard to get brands to work with and brands to get content creators to work with.
I love it. So that's destination. You want to have a $1 billion platform that gives providing this bridge between influencers and brands. That's the destination. So now, if we now think of it, the goal is, by the way, you should have a number. Have $1 billion, $1 million, whatever it is, right? So now that's the destination. Then we are here today in the space of I have this passion, I have this knowledge, but how do I start? I work in 9 to 5. You work in 9 to 5. It's a 9 to 5 kind of related to what you do. Oh no. Not 9 to 5. Okay. So now, I'm trying to go back to what I talked about earlier. What UBA will teach you is, UBA will teach you things around client and customer satisfaction. UBA will teach you around metrics of, okay, so are clients really happy? How do we measure progress? UBA will teach you structure, which you can apply to your business in future, right? So always think of it today. What am I doing now and what can it teach me? But anyways, by the way, we're not done with you now. Why you give me the mic? I'm now going to say that, okay, what exactly does this spectrum of opportunity look like? We know the destination, we know where we are, but what's the spectrum of opportunity? Basically saying that, currently working UBA, what's my 2-year goal for UBA? Do I want to start a business? Do I want to actually start my business now? Or do I want to, let's say, save up 5 years, 10 years from now, build capital, build experience to eventually start my business? There's several ways to go about it. So you say, okay, from UBA, where am I going to next? Who has this thing that I want? If I remember, this is what I'll be talking about. Who in Nigeria has this thing that I want? Or who is the person that I see that has a good brand strategy today that I can look for a way to go and work with that person? So, for example, I know there is this problem with the market. I don't necessarily know how to solve it yet, but I know that there is this one influencer. Every week they are signing, maybe to make it, every week they are signing a new brand. That means that she's probably using a system that made brands recognize her better. How do I learn from Tunike? I could, let's say 6 months, 1 year, stay at UBA, maybe go on Tunike's or something, I don't know, right? In several ways to do that. Or I could literally give myself the assignment of studying Tunike. How did she begin? What type of brands has she partnered with over time? and then saying that who am I going to now start doing this for? It might be for free. You might just see someone that has potential, it might be your friend, to say, okay, you know what? Let's work together that in 1 month you get the branding. You can still be doing your 9 to 5, by the way. So let's say your friend is Moji. Moji, my goal to you is that in 2 months we'll get the branding. I don't know how, but I'm going to go and learn how. I think with that, you put yourself, first of all, you're going towards your destination with your 95. Number two is you've opened yourself to an idea, to opportunity that you were not thinking of before. And when Moji has a testimony, Moji will then go and tell our other friend that also wants to get branded. Say, okay, I don't know, but there's this my friend that knows what to do. And with that, it goes grace, the money you get from whoever now surpasses your 95 and you can like work independently. What exactly? Thank you very much. Thank you. What exactly is my point? Is that we cannot wait. I don't know what to say. You cannot wait for anybody to hand you a drink. I'm talking to myself because I have a big dream. I'm kind of scared. Anyway, don't let me do you. But number one is what? You cannot wait. So you need to what? Target topics that excite you. You're looking to get a job. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to get a job. You don't know what to apply to what are the topics that excite you? Things around business, things around finances, things around accounting, things around education. Okay? The number two is what? Build a top 10 company list. I think that your name, sorry, what's your name? Anna. For Anna now, it's like, okay, who are the top 10 influencers that I see myself probably working to people? For you, it might be, what are the top 10 companies? For me, it's probably like, who are the top 10 world changers or nation builders that I see myself becoming like. When you have that view, then you start saying, okay, what did they do when they were my age or when they were my level? What can I start doing from everything they did? How do I measure success? Does that make sense? Our ability to ask ourselves questions will take us toward our destination faster, with or without the help of people. With the help of coaching, I can't do anything without God. And then figure out, do I need to have certain certifications? Do I need to have certain skills? And know that your list might change from season to season. The Faith that wanted to become a chartered accountant, when she was doing this, it's very different from the Faith talking to her now. So the people and the topics and the skills and the companies that were on our list then will not be the same on our list now. Does that make sense? But your ability to say, you know what, if I just want to be ambitious in life, not thinking of Nigeria's economy and plans to Japan to Canada. What are the things I can start doing from today? From today. And I think that if you really push yourself to asking the right questions, to figuring out one thing you can do from today, at the end of the day, what is building a career that compounds. Skill upon skill. The Bible says line upon line, precept upon precept. Everything, a little here, a little there. It eventually what will take you to your destination. Let me think. Let's look at the final one so that I can take the question. The number 4 is avoid traps like what? I think I put it here. Okay, exactly. Thank you. Big expectations. So imagine you go into an organization, you start your business, and there's literally nothing that you're able to track performance. It's very bad. What does success look like for you? So in your role, in your job, in your business, what does success look like? If nobody finds it, go ask your manager, sir, what does success look like for you, from me? Meaning that at the end of the month, what do you want me to do? If nobody accepts it, literally say, sir, okay, don't worry. I will go and think and I will come back and commit myself to you. That before the end of this month, this SOP that has been on our list that we want to finish, sir, I'm committing you to what? To submit it. What do you think that positions you? Number 1, it makes you very different from every other person in the organization. Number 2, it makes you more responsible. And number 3 is what? It pushes you to be better. Because when your manager sees that at work, it's like, okay, this person is kind of self-driven, then what? Maybe more responsibilities or promotion. But even if it's your business, you have a hairstylist business, what does success look like for you? You have a content creation business. What does success look like for you? I'm trying to grow my LinkedIn. What does success look like for me? But when the end destination, when the purpose of a thing is not known, kind of just okay, we meet it, okay, fine. It's alright, we get there. Number two is what? Avoid peer pressure. And why did I put this there? Because we're very young people, including myself. Left some of my friends, I'll be with them straight. I'm not going to ah, there's not Nigeria. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be maybe get a job and everyone else is starting their business and you know that the Holy Spirit has not put it in you to start your business. But you're like, I cannot come and be going to Lagos, so what am I doing there? Or I cannot come and be doing this. What does peer pressure look like? I'm giving examples. And number three is what is pride. Pride is us feeling like nobody knows, cannot come and talk to me, nobody can teach me, nobody can correct me, I'm not willing to learn from anybody because of what kind of have everything figured out. These are things to avoid, and I wish like I had more time to search like every single thing here can take you farther away from your destination. That's what taking you towards your destination. Does that make sense? Alright, so let's look at the final one and then go next one. I think to the point of you don't need to know how, but you need to know what. You don't need to know how, but you need to know what. You don't need to know how, but you need to know what. And the where is what? That destination. The where is what? The where is it's a destination. At the end of the day, everyone is what is figuring out. I put here the timeline of faith at 9, secondary school chartered accountant, to faith at 14, CBN governor, to faith at 22, changed where I am today. It's like at the end of the day, the process will evolve, but your destination mostly doesn't change, I promise you. Meaning that I cannot wake up tomorrow and say I want to become the first person, the first Nigerian to go to space. Like it's most maybe when I've gotten to land, like I've gotten there and just like what can I do before I die? Like that's where like all these things will come to pass. But like in terms of something pushing you, most of the time it's there. You always have an inkling of this is where I'm going. So you don't need to know the how. All I need to do to commit to me is regardless of the job I get, the business I'm doing, every day I'm committed to taking a step towards my destination. Every day I'm committed towards improving myself towards my destination. Hannah's dream, for example, is to build $1 billion marketing or influencer bridging company. But imagine Hannah today cannot even use her 50K allowance well. So is Hannah preparing herself for to run $1 billion company? That's your business question. Hannah today cannot what? For example, I'm not saying Hannah can't, right? Hannah today cannot speak to an audience like this. Is Hannah preparing herself to lead $1 billion company? Hannah today cannot dress well, or her Instagram profile is not depicting $1 billion CEO. Is Hannah preparing herself to lead $1 billion? So it doesn't have to. Let's not go to the technical, to the hard things. Look at your life today. Am I preparing myself? Am I living my life in the way that is taking me towards this what destination? And it changes the way you think. Praise the Lord. Okay, next to final slide. It is this. Basically, how your career compounds. Number one is what? Can we say grow intentionally? Can we say grow intentionally? Can we say grow intentionally? Number two is have your skills that make you employable. Have the skills that make you employable. Can we say it? Number three is build your spectrum of opportunities. Number four is avoid the traps. And number five is direction over process. Direction. I feel like if we do all of these things, ultimately we get to where we get to that final destination. Okay, final slide. I think I have an assignment for you. Okay, so every opportunity is either compounding you towards your North Star, your destination, or taking you away from it. And so everyone's assignment before you sleep tonight, Write down your notes, the destination. One sentence, don't try to overthink it. What's your North Star? Like, what is that thing that will keep you going? Whether I work today at Google or I work in my father's business, I work in my father's school. What is that North Star? And then the second thing is what? How do I take one step today? Today, that takes me towards my North Star, my destination. I pray that as we do all of these things and more, may God, in His infinite mercy, grant us the grace, diligence, perseverance, continue to push towards the destination and not time. Thank you very much.
Wow. How many of you were blessed by that? I mean, it's, I just think was and while she was speaking, I mean, definitely there's going to be room for questions. I know you all have your questions. To ask your questions, just pen them down for you to ask questions. While she was speaking, that's what it's about. It's what she's saying to us. Everybody, everybody starts self ability that we have. That's one of those. This was about 5, 6 years ago. I was in university again, my 300 level or something like that. I mean, something personal. I just said to just put it up in there. Hey God, I've realized that it requires me to control what I can control and trust you to control. So I made a list of what I can control and what you just read it all that it is a setting. If I look back at it, there's certain things I can do for what was there, what you need to not everybody has the ability just like this. It was experience. You want to get there. This is where you will be able to have it figure out. This is the destination and you will the process. Now, she made a thing about opportunities or like you can be and it can be an opportunity to actually be business or to create or in any space you know whereas about to them teach how to about that we might we see where people how like what I'm working I don't know if I find themselves there was no peace. I don't know, this was how my brain was thinking about this. Holy angry, tired. So what do I do? This. It's okay. But you know, I made almost a million just 3 days of selling pizza access to it. So whenever you find yourself in it, do you understand what I'm saying? So she was saying that, I was thinking about it. Do not want to have opportunities for this. When you're conscious of the environment. So let's give around of applause for heights and shine again. You know, another thing she said that I think it's blessed me. Speaking about international age, but say wanted to be this, at age this, wanted to be this, and at this age, wanted to be this as well too. I was finding a bit of solace. Hey, there's nothing wrong with me. Because when I was growing up, alright, Many of you really so parents try to motivate me. They try it, they try their best. And that they were doing some of the suicide. Thank God for what it's been to account. It's to obviously the accountability of Russia. But then I sat because it can be it's about the destiny of our and it's a doctor Milewa. And I went to science class and I wanted to be a doctor. I studied I don't know this applied biology textbook medicine. I studied it from the back twice. Why because it came out of my world is about biology. And the biology part of that. So think about it. I think I was God really my great group. Like this guy did what he was to do. And I went into conference with this. The better part of life is for like universities. And I've always thought there's someone that said for you to achieve AI level of fitness set, it has to be a level of mathematics. So you just have to do mathematician. It's for us. It's very important. Even when I was in university, I always wanted to. I was very ambitiously limited out. I had ambition to be the completely different branch of services. Enhance experience, disconnect and experience something. That would be of our time. Glory. Look at it, the pastor. The pastor. Make the vision shifts. Is it that there's something wrong? Or is it that I changed? Or I'm not the person I am? No, I'm still the same person. We're still having a Launchpad in a church, helping people become better versions and getting to a place of clarity. But it first comes to know who you are and understanding where you are going to. When I was maybe in the next 5 years, people that could never it. But today, we're building Zion, the city of God. Glory be to God. So thank you so much. A round of applause for Peter Shire again. Where is our DJ? Alright, thank you.
A round of applause for me. All right. I actually have a question. The fact that I'm the NC, it gives me the right to ask my question first. All right. So I do 9 to 5 on average, and my North Star is to become a lecturer. See my person is looking at me. So the first question is, how do I promote it? I think I'll say personally that. Now, I'm back again. My name is Anayoji. I am my person again. Thank you very much. So, in case you guys don't know, there is a grand prize of 500,000 for so if you have a business idea that is launchable, there's a launch partner that's launchable, bring it over the city. So now I'm going to play a game called Call Your Bluff. Call Your Bluff. You know the game is a plan. Nobody. Nobody. Alright, let's do this way. Let's start. I can name 10 cars. You know you can name 15. Hands up. Yes. Cars. You can name 15 cars. 15. Yeah. Brands of cars. Yes. You can name 15. You can name 15. Come on. I will use any blue and sky blue. They are both blues. You can name 15. No. How many can you name? You can try 10. You can try 11. Let me see hands up. You can try 11. You can try 11. I can try 14. Hands up. I can try 14. Hands up. Nobody. You can name what? 11. Let's go.
Toyota Benz, Then Volkswagen, then Audi, Porsche, Chevrolet, Benz, Lamborghini, and that's them.
A round of applause for him. How many did you name? I can name 12. You maybe can name 13 in Zanzibar. Item 7, oh please, very serious, very, very serious. You can name 12. I like that, confidence. You can name 13. Wow. Wow. Ah, that's true. You remember what he said? You can name additional 4. No, I don't trust him. You will pick from him. I don't trust him. You know what he said? 14. 14. Let's go. That's 14. So we have a winner. He named 14 cars. He named extra 4 aside from. I can name 15. Me, name 15. Additional 1. You can have 2 more. Minus 1 is 8. I'm supposed to not pay equal over. How many do you can name? Okay, he named extra 4. You can add 2 more. About 3 more. Well, actually, that was a blow. that was actually a blow. I can't name 14. Well, so we have a winner. You want to name extra 2? You can. Give it a try.
I knew it. He mentioned. I had the idea. It's fun. Dodge. Yeah.
Well, I think he tried. So you can name an extra 1. You can name an extra 3. I like that. I like the confidence. An extra 3. Let me give it to you.
Suzuki, there's Honda. No one has said Honda. There's Nissan.
This is going somewhere. I like this.
And
One more. Hit your phone. This bluffing is going somewhere else.
Nissan and the Lagos. The Lagos are I'm currently leading, right?
He has the highest counts, but he got the last shots. Alright, so highest counts. So our winner for Call Your Bluff is him. A round of applause for him. Alright, now this is very, very simple. I would like us to do something else, which is we need to follow each other on Instagram. Now, starting first, you need to follow our page, which is Zion, Our church. Sorry, I thought I was a church. So I'm this way sorry. So our Instagram page will be posted on the screen. Kindly please follow our Instagram page. Are you going to our page on Instagram? Then you need to follow our guest speaker. That was amazing. A round of applause for her. That was super, super amazing. You know, I was talking to one of a friend of mine, and he said he wants to learn this big job, 60 units, 70 units, you know. And I asked him, do you have what it takes? That was the first question I asked him. Do you have what it takes? Because everybody wants to learn this contract of, you know, having the big money contract, getting a big job in this digital, renting a car, travel out the country. But the truth is, do you have what it takes? So thank you very much, ma'am. That was super, super amazing. Now I have another game. Oh, do you guys want me to leave? Do you guys want me to leave? All right. You need to follow her on Instagram. That's first. Please bring out your phones and you please follow her on Instagram. List. All right. Also, I do MC for a living, so in case you have a program, you can just hit me up. Thank you very much. What's the I'm do? I'm not sure what that person. Seriously, I'm not sure that. It's a calling I knew that I had, but I didn't pick the call. That's the thing. It was a dream, but somebody woke me up early. So kindly please follow her on Instagram and LinkedIn. You know, one of the reasons I don't like visiting LinkedIn is, I don't know. Have you ever been to LinkedIn? Have you viewed somebody's profile and the next thing said was to yourself was, damn, I'm not serious anymore. Like, LinkedIn is, you just see somebody's, you just open somebody's profile and you see, do this, special this, special this, special this, special this, do this, do this. And the funny part that you guys are in the same career path. And you don't say to yourself, ah, you're not serious. You're not serious. You're not serious. So please and please try as much as possible to go through what she said. I can see the people with their notepads and they're jotting down. Please do well to follow her and read what she did. So moving on to the next session, please welcome my pastor and the host, Pastor Andrew Chidori.
All right. Thank you very much. These are just comments. Sorry to be taking spots. One of our sponsors for this program as well. So, this what she comes with. Out of these rights of needs, Tech founder building the payment rails content as
She's behind one of Africa's most ambitious stablecoin payment networks, enabling fast, borderless transactions across African markets. A Covenant University alumni, she previously drew product market area before co-founding Accru in 2022. She speaks regularly on growth, fintech, and how capital flows in emerging markets. Let's welcome Abisu.
Can you hear me? Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you so much, Ayla. Thank you so much for tonight. Thank you so much for having me. Please not just get back during next time. I think most of what I'll be doing today is really just like sharing my story from leaving university and now all of the things that have happened, what I've done, and we're very smart people, so I'm sure that we'll be able to learn some lessons. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so a little about me. I graduated from Covenant University. I studied business administration. I'm currently the co-founder and CEO of Accru. Let me just give you a quick introduction of what Accru does and what we've been able to achieve over the last few years. Just because I think it will be helpful to put the story in context. So Accru currently helps businesses and individuals send money from one African country to another. That's primarily what we do. Currently, we have over 350,000 users, and we've been able to grow our business to this over the past few years, and we've also been able to raise millions of dollars from investors. You can go to the next slide. In the early days, when I was in Covenant University, I had a business and I used to sell perfume oils and clothes. Right. So during the holidays, I would go to this market called Katangwa Market. If anybody knows that. Do anybody know Katangwa Market? Okay. I've been hearing you guys all go to boutiques. Where I'll go to the Katangwa Market, they will bring out their bill. I will select all of the pieces I like. That time, I remember, it looked like a shirt, a blouse, the people. One shirt for like maybe 200 naira, 300 naira, 400 naira, right? And I'll buy lots and lots of it and I'll take it to school. I'll also buy lots of perfume oils, go to school and I'll sell everything. Go from one to another, just carrying my stuff and asking if I wanted to buy. So as a student, I was able to make a lot of money from that. But then because of COVID, I came back home and needed to be home for a while. And one of the main things I was worried about with being at home is all of the money I've been saving. These I'll come and now finish everything and I'll go back to being broke. Right. So I really didn't want to be at home. So at the time there was a school near my house and they were living with me. I hate running errands. And you know as a child, if you are home on holiday, all the family members, that's all you are good for. Go and do this, go and do that. I didn't want to be just there like running around, like pushing money and save. So I applied for the teaching job. And the teaching job, the salary they were paying me was 18,000 naira. And I remember when I took the job feeling very sad because I've got to Covenant University all these years, all the expensive school fees. Now I'm going to be earning 18,000 naira. That's genuinely how I felt. But I think the biggest lesson that I can always impact to people from my story is no opportunity is too small to take, as it makes me get ahead to what you want to do. A problem with many of us sometimes is we're looking for the perfect opportunity, we're looking for the perfect job, right? The kind of job that you'll be able to post on LinkedIn, the kind of job that you'll be able to brag about. But many of us, as we start our careers, you're not going to start with a perfect job. And that was it for me. Instead of a teaching job of 18,000 naira that I wasn't happy about. But the job solved the two main problems for me that I had then. I was going to be out of the house all day, so nobody's sending me message back to back. I was also going to reduce the way I spent the money I had saved, because then I had restricted myself to this 18,000 naira I'm getting. That's all I'm spending. The money I saved, I'm going to make save. Right. So I just want to encourage anybody here who maybe is faced with an opportunity that isn't the most glamorous opportunity, right? Something that is kind of like a step down from what you think you should be doing, right? Always like take opportunities, whatever you can very well, like you said. Always take opportunities that are presented to you. One of my favorite quotes is when you seize an opportunity, it multiplies, right? So from this job, I'm taking the opportunity to work at this job. I worked there for a little bit. And so last year I got this book. Who read the book Lessons from a Life in Business by Femi Otedola? It's a really nice book. If you haven't read it, I think you should read it. So I read it last year, and one of the major takeaways from that book is also taking opportunities, no matter how small they are. He talked about how his first business was him cutting his father's friends, and they paid him like money for that. I mean, look at who he is now, but he started like cutting people's fingernails, right? So for you, you might have to just start from the littlest place and don't be late to that. Just be faithful. We can go to the next slide. So after working at this school for a bit, student. After working at the job for a bit, I applied another job. And to this job, I applied as a product manager. At the time, I didn't even think I wanted to be a product manager, but everybody and their aunties wanted to become product manager. Right. So I felt like since I didn't know what I want to be, maybe I should also be a product manager. But then after applying for the job, they got back to me to say, oh, we don't have a product manager role available, but we have a customer support. I did not want to do customer support. But again, in the spirit of taking opportunities, this is a better job, was going to be a better pay from the 18,000 naira I was earning. And so I took the job and started working on the customer support. So I put a picture there. That was like I don't know how to feel like my first workspace. I remember I didn't have money to buy like a comfortable and chair then. And I remember having a meeting where usually I would walk on my bed. But in particular, I had an important meeting that I had to be seated. So I just put all of that together and that was how it was. Right. So in my customer support job, I met someone, my boss then, CEO, and he was very helpful. He taught me the job. We became friends, like very good friends. Till today, he's still one of my best friends. Right. We became very good friends. And one day he tells me about an idea that he has for a company he wants to start. And he's like, do you mind you have your regular job, but would you also add this to the side hustle? Why not pay me? Right. It's fine by me. Again, in the spirit of taking opportunities, I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it as a side hustle. I would like helping people then. Right. And I started working on this idea that he had. And a few months into working on the idea, I had fallen so much in love with the idea, fallen so much in love with the thing that we were working on. And I reached out to him to say, I think I should be a co-founder of this company because I have come to like really love doing this. I no longer feel like I'm just helping you thing. And he was like, oh yeah, sure, like that's a good idea. I think and that's how I became. So I didn't even start as a co-founder of a group, and I don't think many people, I don't think Ayo knows that. Yeah, I didn't even start as a co-founder of a group. It was really just this was an opportunity to help someone, right? The person wasn't going to be able to pay me because they didn't even have money to be able to pay me. But the spirit of always taking opportunities that come, it took that opportunity, and then it led to a few months down the line, they say, oh, I think I should be a co-founder of this company. That's how I joined that. Right. So one main lesson again, like the last few slides is take opportunities. Take opportunities. Take opportunities. Serve people. Serve people. Don't just be hyper focused on money. Right? Money is good when it is in its place. Right? But like many of us are so hyper focused on when I can't make enough money from this, and I can't get this from this. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to take the opportunities. But sometimes the opportunities that will lead you to even the best places will be things that you will have to do for free. Will be things that you probably get paid next to nothing for. Right? So having a heart of service, right? Some of you have friends who are doing amazing things, who have businesses, but because of our pride, or because you don't want to serve your friend, you don't pay attention to that and you leave that on the table. Me in this case, I joined my friend to work on his company and like help him and serve him even if he couldn't pay me. Then he ended up being for my company. At the time when I was telling him I would help him, I didn't know that I would end up being a co-founder of that company. For me, I just genuinely wanted to help this person. Right? So be open to taking opportunities of actually serving my friend around here. Then to I think the next slide to starting the company properly and how things went. Again, I'm speaking like from the part of entrepreneurship because that's what I currently do. So those are my co-founders. The one on the black and white shirt, that's Clinton, and that's Dino that I talked about. Right. Entrepreneurship is not easy. Right? Even when I joined a crew, which is the name of our company, even when I joined a crew, for about a year, over a year, I couldn't get paid a salary because the company didn't have money to pay me a salary. Right. At the time, I had moved to Lagos and I was now living with my brother in his one bedroom house. So it was a one bedroom rat investment house there. Right. And we were just like managing there. And that's where it was for me. And my brother was such a big blessing to me because I couldn't get paid at a crew. The money I had to like be very prudent with it so that I couldn't run out of cash. Right. And this is for me, this is me saying that entrepreneurship is not easy. I hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to work for anybody, I don't want to do this, I don't do that, so I'm going to start my own company. Start. And me, I always tell them, I don't even advise people anymore. I told them they always start. You will see that it is harder than that place that you're running away from. Right? Entrepreneurship is not easy. And I would say, with entrepreneurship not being easy, one of the most important things that you have to learn, or one of the most important things that you have to have is grit. Please let me know I'm not tracking my time, so in case one of the most important things that you have to have is grit. How many of us have started a business that didn't work out? Right. Like a lot of right. That happens. So our first idea for this business, the one that I was helping my friend Zeno on, the first idea didn't work out. Actually, it worked out for a few months, right? But then it just stopped working. We weren't making money from it, macroeconomic conditions. So all of the revenue that we had tried to make just like going down. And at this point, we started talking to investors to say, oh, this is what we're building, this is the traction we have, we can invest in our business, right? But then all of the money that we were making started to go away and investors started to support us again. They were ghosting us. So at this point, we had to pivot, right? So this thing that we wanted to do, we're faced with two options, not working. Do we want to pivot to something else, or do we want to keep struggling to this business guide? So we decided to like pivot to another idea, which we were so excited was going to work. Right? Like anybody who wants to start a business, you are so sure that this idea you have is going to change your life and it's going to change. But then we pivoted to that idea, and surprise, that idea also did not work. Right? Yeah. Well, let me not say it didn't work because it worked, but it didn't work in a way that was going to be exciting for us. Right? The aim of any business is to make money. And we had seen that that idea wasn't going to make us money, it wasn't going to help us be able to like have fruitful conversations with investors. So we had to then pivot again. We then did a pivot to what we currently work at, what we're currently working on, which is cross-border payment for Africa, one African country to another. And one of the most interesting things that made us know that this was going to be the big growth was the more we did a pivot to this idea, that month was 4% of our revenue for that month. And in about a 7 month period, it became 70% of our revenue. And we just look at that with that here, like this is what we're supposed to do. Right. Next slide. I'm part of entrepreneurship being challenging. Um, we've experienced so many challenges. Oh, so many. Even as I'm standing here now, we have some big problems that, yeah, I can't even like share because they're so big. But then that's what entrepreneurship is about. You set out to solve problems. So daily you would solve problems. Like daily. Right? And some of the challenges that we've had, there was a time that we weren't able to pay salaries. We were down to just about 6 months of work. And at that time, remember I said I couldn't get paid for about a year because I didn't have money to pay me. Then we then got to a point where we had to cut everybody's salaries in the company by 35% because we didn't have money to pay people. And at the time, we kept applying. And this is why grit is very important. Don't say you tried a business once or you tried this particular business and it didn't work out the first time, or it didn't work out in the way that you wanted it to work out. So business is not for you. So you're not good at entrepreneurship. No, you have to always like go again and again and again and again. Right? We just keep applying to different VCs, applying to different VC programs, just telling investors that, oh, this is the idea that we have. Come and invest in us. Come and take a chance on us. And it was like we were just getting moved on a daily basis. No. Right. And then there was a particular accelerator that applied to. Right. And it bring up this. So every rejection cost us like reevaluate our messaging, our product, our approach. So initially we started our business in Nigeria, right? And for some reason we were not getting, even after our videos, we were not getting the kind of traction that we thought was exciting. Or we weren't growing as well in Nigeria. And we didn't really think of why should we growing in Nigeria? We said, how about we test the Ghanaian market? Take it to so we said, why how about we test the Ghanaian market? Right? And this is for entrepreneurs in the house, for people who knows their entrepreneurs. Right. Sometimes the products that you have, it doesn't work for your audience at the moment and they don't notice it. Sometimes you have to put on your audience. Um, maybe currently you're selling to batteries, right? And the product isn't really working well with batteries. Sometimes it doesn't mean that your product is not good. Sometimes that you're probably selling to the wrong audience. And you should maybe be selling to single parents or selling to nursing moms. And for us, that's what it was. We did a pivot from Nigeria. Because Nigeria isn't working, let's try this out in Ghana. And we went to Ghana to try out the same thing. And what was not working in Nigeria blew up in Ghana. On different occasions, that's a screenshot. On different occasions, we have ranked most downloaded music app on Ghana's App Store. That's above. So this is the first one. Both by companies like EcoBank, MTN, Binance, like much bigger companies. Right? And that came from us deciding to pivot to another market. So someone who's probably struggling with your business, it might not mean that you have to like shut your business down or that your business is not working. Many times you probably just have to try again and again. You can't. One thing I always tell my team at work is you can't say that you tried a particular thing and it didn't work and you're giving me feedback of, oh, this thing didn't work. Right? It's like you have to keep experimenting. You have to keep experimenting. Oh, we tried this one, it didn't work. And then like three more things we can try. And then like five more things we can try. And the thing about business is that you actually have to love the game. Right. That's the thing with entrepreneurship. And that's why when people tell me that they want to leave their 9 to 5 because their boss is stressing them too much, so they want to go and be their own boss. I always tell them, wait for them, be a boss that you will see. Right. The thing with entrepreneurship is that on a daily basis, you're faced with different problems. If your logistics company is not messing your business up, right? It will be the person supplying you, it will be the customer, it will be something, right? So you have to fall in love with the game. You have to like keep experimenting. You have to keep trying because the default is that businesses die. Like Pastor Ayo said earlier, 9 out of 10 businesses are here dying in the first year, right? That's the default. So for your business to work, it actually has to be like an outlier case. You have to like keep experimenting. And next slide, being 18. I had mentioned that we had applied to a lot of VCs, a lot of accelerator programs, and we just kept getting no. We get on calls and like we post us. If you've ever tried to raise money for anything, you know that you get it, right? Talk more of like you trying to raise, want to tell investors you want to raise $2 million, $5 million. It's the ghetto. Can you hear me? So yeah, we had just kept reaching out to investors without it working. There was a particular investor that we accelerated that we ended up applying to. On our first application, they rejected us. We applied again. On our second application, they rejected us as well. Although this time, we then reach out to them to say, oh, why did you reject us? Is there something that we're not doing well? Just so that when we're applying the next time, right, we would. Before I continue the story, mention that because salary first, eventually we were able to scramble and scramble things. Eventually we were able to scramble and try, and we finally got profitability. Right. At this point, we now start reaching back out to investors and start having more profitable conversations. So this particular accelerator that we had applied for, they rejected us the first time. They rejected us the second time. So after the second rejection, we then emailed them to say, why did you like reject us? Like, are we doing something wrong so that we can improve on that before we apply again the next time? And one of the co-founders of the accelerator reaches out to us and he gives us like the reasons they rejected us. And he says, but keep me updated on your progress and apply in the next batch. Right. So we basically, when he tells us all the things that they were worried about, we just answered all of those questions in Word document, sent it in an email. We also sent him a link to our Metabase dashboard. Metabase is basically just a tool that we use for tracking our revenue, profits, volume process, all the numbers of our business so that we can grow. We sent him that link and he's like, oh wow, your growth is impressive. I wish I saw more of this earlier. And the reason why he didn't see more of it earlier was because many times in an accelerator, they don't ask you for the traction, right? Because they're even working with people who just have ideas and haven't even been into business. Anyway, he's like, oh wow, I'm so impressed by your traction. Give me a few days to go back to my people, like my colleagues, and have a conversation. Anyway, he comes back in a few days and says, well, we've gone back on our earlier decision and we would like to invest in your company. We'd like to have you as part of the accelerator program. And so that's how we got into the accelerator program. At the time, they invested $250,000, and after the accelerator program, we were then able to raise a seed round. Right. And what does this teach you? Attack this winning through humility, right? Because many of us, we're proud people, right? We're proud people, we are. And And I'm a young person, so I know I'm part of you. We're proud people. So sometimes there's that thing of this thing is beneath me, right? Reaching out to people out of humility to say, oh, I'm getting this wrong. Can you help me? Um, what am I not doing right? Can you point it out to me? Sometimes we don't want to do that, but for us, that was literally what changed things for us. Where we just went back to these people who had been rejecting us to say, why are you rejecting us? Like, should we be doing something better? And just that just led to like a more beautiful path for us, right? So for anyone here who's like building a business, who wants to build a business, make sure you're constantly talking to your investors, talking to your users, asking questions, being humble enough to accept feedback from people. Don't give excuses. There's this, I'm currently reading a book called Clear Thinking. And one of my major lessons from the book is complaining is not a strategy. For many of us, if you have a food business and they tell you that, oh, the jollof rice you cooked, there's no, the tomato inside is not enough. Or let's just say the tomato inside is not enough. What many people would say is, oh, don't you know that Tinubu has done this and this and this? Don't you know that tomato is not expensive? Many people will complain, right? Many people will not take responsibility. Don't be the kind of person who is always complaining. Complaining is not a strategy. There's this quote I really like, and I think it's by Jeff Bezos. Complaining is not a strategy. I hope I didn't message it to her. You have to engage with the world the way it is, not the way you want it to be. You have to engage with the world the way it is, not the way you want it to be. So Nigeria is the way it is. What can you do now that Nigeria is the way it is? Don't be the person who sits down there saying, but Nigeria is the reason why I've not gotten a job. Nigeria is the reason why I don't have an opportunity. Nigeria is the reason why I cannot grow my business. Right? Of course, I'm not saying that there isn't always something wrong with the system. But even when there's something wrong with the system, there's always something that you can do to keep moving the needle. Right? So when you get feedback about your business, about maybe something you're not doing right, or something you should be doing better, like internalize it and take responsibility. Because it's only when you take responsibility that you can be better and you can then grow your business. And for us, taking the feedback that the investors gave us and even asking for the feedback in the first place was what then changed like, the trajectory of our business. Also, I also like people in my team. So initially we started from about 4 people. Like everybody was just doing everything because we didn't have money to like pay people. But now it's grown to a team of, I think I count, maybe like 35 people. Right. But now in Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Kenya, Benin Republic, South Africa, right? And that has come with us just growing, like just taking risks, just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. There are many of us who, and I'm saying this because I used to struggle with it. There are many of us who struggle with imposter syndrome and feel like I can't do this, like this thing is above me, right? There's some of us who say this thing is beneath me, but there are also some of us who say this thing is above me, I cannot do it. But I read a quote recently, and the person was saying that the way you learn to do hard things is by doing hard things. You don't learn to do hard things by wishing you could do hard things. The way you learn to do hard things is by doing hard things. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more your comfort zone expands. Right? There are some things at the start of my company that would give me sleepless nights. I'll be so worried about. I'll feel like an imposter about. But now bigger things make me feel like an imposter. And very soon, these bigger things are making me feel like an imposter will no longer make me feel that way. And much bigger things will start to make me feel that way. Right? I remember when we started, one of the things I was worried about is like small me, like what do I know that I'm saying I want to expand my S from Nigeria, then to Ghana, then to Kenya, right? And a bigger challenge then came last year, end of last year, because When we're expanding to Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, at least those are African, those are English speaking countries, right? Then we had this bright idea at the end of last year, or I had this bright idea at the end of last year, where I'm like, how about we expand to Cameroon, right? Cameroon, they are speaking French there, but the Republic is a French speaking country. I currently cannot speak French very well, right? So I started reaching out to a lot of like Cameroonians on LinkedIn and just like get to know, that's like bilingual Cameroonians, so people that can speak both French and English. I started getting on calls with them to even see if our company was like the right fit for that market. And after getting on calls with several people, I realized that, oh, I think there is an opportunity for us here. And so I start scouting for people to hire in Cameroon, right? Eventually, I find who I want to hire, the people I want to hire. I hire them, we start working together. That was a bigger challenge than expanding to Ghana, because in Ghana, they speak English. In Cameroon, they don't speak English. I've never been to Cameroon, right? But currently, we launched in Cameroon, was that, I think December of last year, and currently we're almost at 10,000 users in Cameroon, right? That was another big challenge, right? My point with that is, the more you step outside your comfort zone, the more your comfort zone expands. Now, I'm not going to feel worried about expanding to Togo, right? Because even if I can expand to Cameroon, where they speak French, it means I can also expand to Togo, where they speak French. And another thing as I begin to wrap up is growth would always demand a lot from me. A lot, a lot. Some of us have the destination in mind. We know what we want to do, but we don't have the discipline to do it. You don't have the work ethics to do the kind of thing that you want to achieve. Some of us wake up and whenever we wake up, right? You don't have the discipline, you don't have the work ethics to achieve the goals that you say you want to achieve. So as much as you are in love with the destination, as much as you are in love with this place you want to get to, make sure you are also in love with the process that gets you there. Make sure you are also in love with the process that gets you there. One of the, I don't know, daunting things I started doing recently that I didn't think I would have to do is, because my company has expanded to Francophone Africa, now I'm learning French, right? I didn't think I was learning French. Up until the beginning of this year, I didn't think I would be learning French. But now I'm learning French. I've had to get like a French teacher, and I have 2 hours classes of French lessons every day with assignments, with like all of the things that I'm doing. So it means I have to wake up much earlier, move my things around, right? So fall in love with the process as well, not just the destination that you want to get to, the place you want to get to. What are some of the things? Do you need to wake up earlier so that you can read more? Do you need to take a course? Do you need to learn another language like me so that you can grow your business in a francophone region, right? So fall in love with the process that delivers the results that you say you want to have. Because you can keep wishing, you can keep saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. But if you don't have the process, if you don't have the work ethics to deliver that result, you will never get the result. And you will just keep being upset at people who have the results that you don't have because you're putting in the work that you don't want to put in. Next slide. So this is just a recap of all of the things that we've talked about. No opportunities for small, right? Like I said, my first job was as a teacher after university, earning 18,000 naira. At the time, I wasn't happy with the job, but then I took the job. Then I moved on to customer support and helping a friend on like a side project that he was doing for free. And I then became the co-founder of that company that I was helping somebody on for free. Right. So whatever opportunities that you have before you, look around. What can I start doing? Is there somebody around me that's trying to build a business and I can help them? Is there something small I can do? List out all those things and start doing them. Another thing is to adapt quickly, right? From all of the things that I've shared, we've seen that it hasn't been a straight path for me. I said our first idea did not work. Our second idea did not work. We had to cut salaries by 35%. reaching out to hundreds of investors and getting rejections, right? But you have to adapt quickly. Don't go back, please. You have to adapt quickly and keep moving. Then try again and again, right? Don't be the person who starts a business, it doesn't work, and you say entrepreneurship is not for you. When I was going through a lot, right, at the time when we had to cut salaries, there was this video that used to give me a lot of hope. And it's a video by Tosi and Yolorunda, that's the CEO of Money Point. And he was talking about how at some point in their business, they had issues with customers, they lost a lot of money, they had to borrow money to even pay salaries, right? And that's Money Point, that is now $1 billion company, right? So and this is what I call all the entrepreneurs who have businesses, these are the kind of things that they face, right? So don't think that it's the nature of the problems that we face to make us feel like we're the only ones going through it, right? You're the only one that your business is always not working. I didn't doing it from the village. Funny thing, you know this village people thing where we always say people are doing us from the village. I saw one post this week on somebody's WhatsApp status, and the person was like, I can think saying that village people they do me, but I reach village now, nobody know my name. I found it so funny, right? So I mean, for us who are doing we're doing business, and you think like, why am I always because I don't think your village people are living, you don't worry, we're together. Like, I have a lot of problems, a lot of work problems, big problems with people like Central Bank of Ghana that we have to deal with. So as you grow in your business, the problems even get bigger, right? But then you develop the capacity to handle these problems. Last slide, I think. Little by little, one travels far. I really love this quote. It's a quote by, I think, J.R. Tolkien. That's the writer of Lord of the Rings, right? Little by little, one travels far. Don't think, well, sometimes we say, oh, the thing I'm doing now is inconsequential, right? It's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. But do it. It's the same thing we do with savings. If I'm saving only 5,000 naira every month, which day will I finally save 1 million naira? Do you understand? So we now take that as information not to save or not to do anything. But do that little thing, those like small, inconsequential things, they will add up, they will compound, and they'll end up giving you outsized results. What worship? I said this for last because many of us, so if you're in a 9 to 5, what some of us will do is, you are not doing your 9 to 5. Half of the time you're supposed to be doing your 9 to 5, you are probably watching TikToks, or you're watching a movie, or you're watching YouTube videos, especially if you work at home, right? But God is interested in your work, right? God is interested in you being faithful with where you are, with the little that you have. If you're working in somebody's company, or you're doing your own business, don't use the time that you're supposed to be working to be watching YouTube videos. Don't use the time that you're supposed to be working to be scrolling on Instagram. Because God rewards faithfulness. If you're not faithful in little, you won't be faithful in much. Right? Be faithful with money. Be faithful with money. Be faithful with money. Let people be able to trust you with money. Don't steal your employer's money. As a founder or as a business person, if you raise money, don't use other people's money to transform your life. Right? Because your work is worship, and at the end of the day, we're accountable to God. Right? For instance, I've been using my iPhone 11 since 2021. This is the only phone I have, and I have no desire to buy an iPhone 17. I can, but it doesn't matter to me. Right? I've been living in the same house I've been living in since when my family was struggling. Not the VAT invested when I talked about, because of that. But from when my family was struggling to now that we're doing much better, right? It's important to God that you're faithful. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't improve your life, but it just means that at each point that you're in, let people be able to trust you with money. At each point that you're in, let God be able to trust you. Let God be able to see that this person is growing, this person is faithful to their boss, this person is faithful in their business. Because your work is worship, right? We're not working on So I'm running out of breath because I'm genuinely not a talker. Sorry. Yeah, but I'm almost done. Let people be able to see that you're faithful with the things that have been committed into your hands, and every day see your work as worship, right? Where I'm sure that most of us here are Christians, if not all of us. So we have the belief that God is the one who provides for us ultimately, and not the job that we're doing, right? So we then approach our jobs not as our source, but as a way to worship God. So whatever you're doing, just see it as worship. Is God going to be pleased with how much I'm putting into my work? Is God going to be pleased that I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm supposed to be working? Right? And just see your work as worship. And I'm sure that God will continue to bless the work of your hands. Thank you.
How many of us were blessed by this? Thank you so much for this. Like, she was very mild in some aspects. I'm going to say what you think. Before I say that, to say, I think there were so many things she said that actually just made me just looked at me about this was happening.
In our journey was also failure. In quotes, what the world calls failure to be. Are we together? Permit me to say what I want to say. I mean, she didn't say it, but I will say it. I mean, there's a time that they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hello? And in quotes, it means they were owing people money. Do you understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, if passion is not what fuels you, if it is like how she said it, my boss is, you know what, and everybody's saying there's money in entrepreneurship, and you just jump into it without having a clear drive vision, you will sooner than later stumble. Are we together? There was something as she was speaking, when she said, our boss just mentioned, oh, I have the startup, I have something I'm trying to do, and she just chose the opportunity, she jumped on the opportunity. Do you know a lot of people in Africa will not? You'll be working somewhere that they are not paying you for far too long. There was something I wrote down in my book years back, and as she was speaking, I just had to just look for it in my notepad. Young African entrepreneurs are often optimistic about changing the world alone in a certain field of expertise. Jesus understood the importance of teamwork while going about his father's business. He assembled 12 disciples who were able to convert 3,000 souls at once and more after his ascension. Many young entrepreneurs believe that one individual can change the world because of the mentality of total organization control. I want to have it all. I want to have the whole pie of the equity. I want to do every single thing on my own, so that when they look at this business, the only person they accrue excellence, you see what I did there? They accrue excellence to is Adeso Amori, is Ayo Shobowali. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not willing to share. Passion and hard work can only buy a building. To buy an empire, you need to collaborate. And there was something John Maxwell said that struck me, that I wrote down there as well. If you think you are the entire picture, you will never see the big picture. That's something beautiful. So when she was speaking about, the point again, taking opportunities, another thing I wrote there was delayed gratification. Seeing that, okay, this is what we want to achieve. Do you know a lot of, make no mistake, I for one, I believe, I made my first million at age 17. What's it called? I could never forget, it was December 31st, 20, what now was it again? And I said to the Lord, I want to make my first million going into this year. That was one of my New Year resolution, either by crook or by hook. But what am I trying to say? I'm not saying that, okay, don't dream big, don't want to make the big bucks. But there's also the place of delayed gratification. She went years or a year plus without getting paid. How many people can do that? You are in an organization, you are part of a vision, you are part of an enterprise, and you believe in the vision. Take the place of delayed gratification as well too. There was something else again from our story. Funny enough, I was discussing it with Faith, while we're inside there, they tried in Nigeria primarily, and they realized that this was not their primary market, at the very least when they were starting, you know. And they moved to Ghana, and we saw the growth. In fact, I did not know that it was number one and every single in the fintech. Sometimes you just need to find where your voice is most echoed, where your voice is heard the most. Do you understand what I'm saying? You might be trying to pitch and push this product. You believe in what you have. It might be beautiful, but it might be the wrong market. It might be the wrong audience. You might be in the right audience, but you might have to fine-tune your product as well too. The first product did not sell. Did you hear that? The second one did not sell as well too. Not like it didn't sell, but they had to revamp again too. And I think that's profound, and it's something. Generally, sometimes your passion may not be the problem. Your lack of innovation might be the problem. And that's interesting. And as she was speaking, I was reminded of a quote by Ray Kroc. I wrote it down. I just had to check it up again. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, he said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. You know what? Let me just rephrase how he said it. He said, nothing in the world is common than. Please pass it quickly. Oh, okay, thank you. Alright, he said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated fools. Pardon my French. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. That's what he said. Do you know that you can be persistent in the wrong thing and still break even? That's how powerful persistence is. They kept on going on, and that's one of the things that a lot of founders do not have. Years of revamping, years of belief. How many of us that movie just came to mind now? Acrimony. As you watch Acrimony, that guy, wherever he is, whatever, he did, but at the very least, he was persistent. For years, he kept on believing in his dream. My battery. I haven't watched that movie in years. I don't know why it just came to my memory. For years, he kept on believing in himself. And what did we see? He broke even though he went. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's something I strongly believe that every one of us just needs to have. I think these were the few things I just wrote down while listening to her. Please, can we give a round of applause for Adesua again? I am, while listening to Faith and Adesua speaking, I'm just persuaded we are doing the right thing with Launchpad. I am persuaded. We're going to be having, and I think there's certain things I want to share with you that I just perceived while I was sitting down, But I think we're going to be having this again, not so very soon, maybe before the year ends, Launchpad 2.0, and I see this growing into something that is going to bless much more lives as time comes. We're going to be having a panel session very soon. We're going to be having our co-hosts just before that. I want you to challenge yourself. You didn't just come here because you had time to spare. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You came here because you want clarity, or you knew there was something here for you as well too. See, there was something the Lord said to me, I think a year plus back. He said, audacity will get you to a stage. Wisdom will preserve you over time. The world is full of audacious fools making strides. Why? Because they are audacious. There are a lot of people that they have vision, but yet they are not audacious. And people that they are audacious are taking the stage. And you are making commentaries. You are leaving comments on social media. This person, how she dressed, how he spoke, you are this. Telling people how to spend their money. Why? Because that's where you are. I'm not talking about anybody in this room. You understand what I'm saying, right? Think about Adolf Hitler at the very least. I'm a sucker for history and a couple of things sometimes. Do you know what it means for you to convince people to go into war, world war. Why? Because you believe the Jews, they have a kind of advantage, or the Jews, they need to be exterminated. That was it. Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, what happened? A lot of revolts here and there. If people are audacious, and have you ever seen certain things and you're like, this person to get followers? Have you ever seen certain, I was, my God, on Instagram, yes, my wife, she sometimes laughs at me about some absurd things that shows on my timeline. I was watching something on Instagram yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I was almost depressed. I will explain. Watch with me to know the most crunchiest leaf that breaks. And the guy steps on the leaf, and you just hear the soothing sound of the leaf break. Guess how many views? Millions of views. Millions. You might want to get angry and just block or disable your Instagram account, because you go you understand what I'm saying, right? Millions of, and I was seeing people, guess what? He had more than 20 posts, everything, millions of views. I think there's another one I saw a couple of months back. Watch with me as I keep on digging with a spoon. Has anybody seen that one? There was someone digging with this one, hundreds of thousands to millions of views on Instagram. Audacity will get you to a stage. Wisdom will preserve you over time. Take for instance right now, if I say for less now, please make welcome with me as I invite Isaac Oluwani on stage right now. He's a top this all of that, and Isaac Oluwani gets here and he says, first and first, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million. I hope each and every one of you pay rapt attention, because you're like, wow, such confidence. I'm about to learn how to make $1 million. But at the same time, when he begins to speak and he starts to do you say this is psycho. Do you understand what I'm saying? You will look at Pastor Ayo, Kilo Fue. Do you understand me? So that still gets you somewhere, but the wisdom you have will preserve you. And that's one of the reasons why we're here at Launchpad. The wisdom required to be audacious in whichever field or area in which we find ourselves. Do you understand? So thank you again to our speakers. Make welcome our co-host.
Hello, Magino. Good afternoon, everybody. How you all doing? That was an amazing session. That was really, really amazing. A round of applause for her, please. A round of applause for her. Thank you. So, I would like you guys to bring out your phones, like your mobile phones. Can you bring out your mobile phones? And visit the App Store and download the Accrue app. Thank you very much. And if you guys want to test it, you can test it by sending money to me. I will appreciate it. Am I correct? Am I correct? Thank you very much. So please bring out your mobile phone and download the Accrue app. It's on Play Store, it's on Google Store. App, register and send money to me. If God lays it to your heart, it will be amazing. It will be super amazing. So come on, Sava. I like that. That's amazing. Come on, Sava. He says, Sava, we may see. Wow, I like that. That's really, really amazing. So, since we are all sharing our backstory, I think I have a story of mine to share. I actually tried a business when I was in school. You know, me and my friend here, we went to a private school, corporate university. So on Sundays, I have some corporate university corporate university. Let me see hands up. Yeah, we went to Crawford. Are you serious? Crawford University, Ibesa. Wow. Okay, you're still in school. Okay, you know that Sundays no cafeteria is to open, exception. I like you, you're smart. So we tried the business there. School cap was only on opening on Sundays. So and the entire school is only going to school cap on Sundays. So me and my guy, we tried you know, we don't have anything to do on Sundays. So we collect people's orders in the hostel. Then we'll go to school camp and buy food there. We had ordinary charges. The day I messed up somebody's order, Jesus. I knew heaven and earth was a thin line between them. I messed somebody's order by mixing a person's food with another person's food. At that moment, I know that business was not for me. Business for me. So that was in 200 level. So 300 level, we tried ironing people's clothes. Lucky for me, lucky and unlucky for me, somebody had the project defense on Monday and he gave me his clothes to iron. And I just collected one iron from the electrician on Saturday, so I decided to test it on Sunday. I bought that clothes with all authority in me. I was taken to the control. So at that moment, I knew business will work for me. So business fail, but you just have to keep pushing. So I have a game, and there's going to be a winner. Can I have a pen? Can I have a pen, please? A pen. Biro. Thank you very much. Biro. All right. Should I do this randomly or somebody will just volunteer? All right. Let's do this way. I would like somebody to sell me this pen for a gift. Who can try? Sell me this pen for a gift. Who can try? Sell me this pen with the bestseller win. Who can try? There's a gift behind it too. If you can sell me this, you want to try? A round of applause for him. At least the courage. Come out. I would like you to sell me this pen. Where I buy it too. If I don't buy it, you have issue. Okay. Sell the pen first. Let me see.
Yeah, I want it to make it.
A round of applause for me. That was amazing. That was really that was amazing. Round of applause for him. So that was super amazing. He tricked me, but I fell for it. So if you're a business owner, let me see hands up. So can I know your name, please? Can you please stand up? Thank you. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you very much. So what do you sell? So what do you sell? It's very, very simple. You need to sell yourself in under 1 minute. What do you sell? What do you do? How do you sell it? Your name of your business and how long it has been existing. Is it in Ghana? Is it in Sierra Leone? Is it in Cotonou? Just it. We are listening. 1 minute to sell yourself. And your time starts now.
Hello everyone, my name is Faith Ajayi, the founder of Get My Need Enterprise. Get My Need Enterprise is an e-commerce business that help people, students, families, individuals get their needs, their daily needs at an affordable price, reliable and trustworthy vendor. So Get My Needs has started since January 2021 as an e-commerce business. It started in school though, but right now we are a growing business and we are pushing forward to greater heights as well. So if you need anything, just hit me up. My WhatsApp number is 081 29 85. You're not taking it down. Okay. I'm calling it again. Oh, 081 29 85 36 76. Hit me up on WhatsApp. We have all your needs available. Just like the Bible says that I'm trying to remember the scripture. Okay, my Instagram is get my needs at, you can check it on Instagram now, get my needs. TikTok too as well, get my needs. Jesus Christ can supply your needs according to his riches in glory, but Tosin is an ambassador of Christ Jesus and she can supply your needs too.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. A round of applause for her. That was super. That was super. On behalf of Pastor now, the only thing we need to get now is for Chelsea to win. Can you do that for us? Can you just for us? You are doing well. Now it's not under your control. You are doing well. So if you're a business owner, let me see hands up. A business owner. Let's have a guy. Can you come step forward? A round of applause for him, please. A round of applause for him as he makes the stake. Thank you. Keep on clapping. Thank you very much. You know the drill now. Sell yourself. Launch yourself under 1 minute. Launchpad. You launch yourself under 1 minute. Do you get it? Your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adeodi Manuel. I'm using this opportunity to launch myself because I appreciate the opportunity from Mrs. Faith and the other colleague that spoke to us. I studied business administration and my business is Adeodi Global Ventures. I studied business administration in school, but I just lost passion for agriculture. And I just observed most of our colleagues or our peers, they are running away from agriculture. And like I said in Yoruba, so I'm trying to look at the way we youth can channel back to agriculture. So by grace of God, I was able to get a piece of land in school and I'm into agriculture. So I just finished serving. I'm finishing serving this month by God's grace. So I'm still planning because I'm having a lot of questions to ask. So that's why I'm just using this opportunity to just kind of come out. So I want to go into agriculture. I want to go into business. So I want a clarification on how I can merge this together because when Nigeria was still Nigeria, when Nigeria was in the 90s, Nigeria was rich then. But immediately we divert from agriculture and we move into other things, we can see the economy is just kind of going down. So there is a program we call Better Use and Copper Connect at Alausa Ikeja. So they are also in alignment with coppers and youth. So my whole aim is to go into business, agriculture in particular, and to help Nigeria boost the agricultural sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Wow, that was amazing. This young man reminds me when I was in school days, when I was debating. My name is Olai Ojanza. I'm here to convince you and not to convince you. I thought I would do debate, but trust me. Well, I got switched to tech computer science. So, ma'am, a round of applause for you. A round of applause. Thank you. A round of applause for her. She makes the stage. Thank you very much. Wow, she's not coming with a book. I like. They're yet to launch. I like that. Please go for that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alukoro Lua, and building a food brand. Started basically launched the brand basically at my NYSC. That was 2005. I started with something I mastered in thinking. I started with something that I mastered very well, and that was cake parfait. And why did I go into that? In the higher institution, in the higher institution, I made the research that there is a connection between the brain, the gastrointestinal tract and the brain, right? So there is a signal the brain sends to the gastrointestinal tract. Many times when, for example, you're not in a good mood, there is something that the brain sends to the gastrointestinal tract. So the brain detects that you are not in a good mood. So something I realized that one can help you for you to have a good mood is good food. I realized good food. So I decided to start with cake parfait. I call it happy food. And right now, cake parfait has been sold to about 1,000 club members, students in university, Launchpad University where I serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was super amazing. Well, I thought, sorry, is the parfait available? Why? You're not making me happy. You're making me happy now. I was expecting probably when you have parfait, you just bring it to her. Then they can just take it to the office. You know, as they are delivering the app, you bring the parfait along. So right now, we'll be having our panelists. But before then, I know you guys have series of questions. You can just jot them down. And when we get to the question and answer session, you give up questions. So for now, we'll be having our panel. So kindly please welcome my pastor and my host, Pastor Ayobide Shuwawale. Thank you very much.
All right. So we're going to be having a conversation. Asking questions, small period sense. Also, I believe in the should be displayed or will be displayed on the screen. So if you have any questions, it's just ask a question. So this is right. You know, if you have a question, right? Put it on the system. It's a question as well. Is that fine? All right. It's a big welcome. Yes, that was we'll be joining the panelists. Also, maybe next month down the line as well. So she works in my cybersecurity. It's not quite because this continue practice it's Adishaya with us and Adesua Mori as well too. Thank you. So I think yes. All right. Can we get more mics? Are there more mics? So I hear a lot of people say the panel session is one of my most sorted after session because you get to hear a lot of things they did not dial down in their notes. At the same time, you get to ask questions, burdens in your heart as well. So please, um, there is more juice in this session than even in the teachings which you heard earlier. So, all right, thank you so much, Faith and Adesoa, for gracing us with your presence. We have a couple of questions. Just understand.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone to the panel session. Now we are going to be having a mix of career and business focused questions, right? As the panel session goes on, if you have questions, pen them down. We'll have live questions after. So I'll start by asking this question to Faith. Okay, so I'll start by asking this question to Faith. You have worked. I think my mic needs. All right. So you have worked across different places. You worked in KPMG, ADAX, and now you're at BCG, right? I want us to gain from her experience so far. Now, this is someone that has worked at global companies, right? And I want to ask, what is something, or what do you think has helped you stand out early in your career? I mean, you're still early in your career, right? Beyond just having a degree, beyond just coming out with a first class, because I mean, she mentioned she had a first class, but she still had some challenges
when she joined BCG. So, what are some things that have helped you stand out across these companies that you have been with?
Thank you very much for the question. I think for me, it's actually the soft things, and I think Adeshua mentioned one of it. One is problem solving. So I'm currently about to be a manager at work, and I have a team member, and the person I'll say, okay, let's do this thing, and the person is just either slow to doing it or feels like, oh, okay, I tried it, nothing, like, okay, it's not going to work. And for me, I remember saying in myself like, this cannot be me. Like I would come to say, you've asked me to do this thing. I have tried to do it this way. It didn't work. Here are three other ways in which we can do it. I think we should try number one because of this. So the ability to just go beyond your job description, the ability to say, this is the problem this organization is facing, this is the problem my team is facing, this is the problem you've asked me to solve. I don't know the answer. I have tried out something else, it's not working. I think we should still do this one, two, three, but never going to your manager or never going to work or never even I would say, fixing your business with a okay, this is it, it's not going to work. That's the end. It's like always think of what's next. I can't do this, but I think here are three other ways in which we can solve it. I think we should do this. Being a problem solver, let me summarize it that way. It makes you stand out, it makes you different. You come with like even an optimistic mentality. It just makes people even interested in working with you. Because they're like, if Adesoa is on my team, if Faith is on my team, if Isaac is on my team, we might not know the answer now, but we're willing to work together to solve that problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That was
you.
amazing.
I also need to just answer what she says. As each one what she says, I think it's very important to mention that these little things is what makes the difference between candidates. Most of them, whereby they are looking at and are trying to see your creativity and intentionality to a problem. Um, I think a lot of things I know the workplace is a lot. The world is looking for What are these things that these people look for before they give this type of opportunity?
So I think it's a number of things, but maybe top two or top three. One, are you the kind of person that can solve the kind of problem you set out to solve? Right. So if you said you wanted to say build a fintech, for instance, and you want to raise money from investors, what sometimes they look out for is, are you the kind of person that can build this business? Right. And that's both soft skills and hard skills. Do you have the expertise? Have you worked in another fintech that is doing something similar to what you're saying you want to do? So do you even know how to do what you want to do? Right. So that's one, the expertise. The second one is this person dogged? Is this person disciplined? Because just like I said earlier, the nature of like business is like it's just daily curveballs, right? So can this person commit to this path? Can this person commit to like the rigors, the So I think that's another thing I think that should look at. Then maybe the second one is traction. Do you have a bit of traction? Right? Because you can go to an investor and say, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z. But many times they want to know, okay, have you even been able to get your first customer? Have you been able to get your first 10 customers? What's that looking like at the moment? So two major things. They have to be able to see that you're the kind of person that can do what you've set out to do, and they have to be able to see that you're already on that path, and that's where your traction comes in.
Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause. I think that's very apt. I see a problem a lot of founders also have. Just a follow-up question to this, right? When it comes to tractions, do they necessarily need to begin to generate revenue? Or are there certain level of tractions that
I think it depends on the investor, right? So I wouldn't say that all investors. Someone this number of people have already like signed up to use my platform, this has happened and that has happened. So it doesn't always necessarily have to like be revenue, but then again it's not cast in stone. It depends on the investor. Some investors want to see that you're making revenue, like I shared with the accelerator that we got into. They don't even always, so it's not, you don't even already have to have established your business to work with them, right? For some of those accelerators, you can go to them with just an idea, and if they like the idea well enough, they are certain that you can execute on the idea, they will take a chance on you. So again, it just depends. Kind of like know your investor, right? Know the kind of person you're speaking to. Does this person want to see revenue? Is this person okay with traction? Then you can then tailor your story to fit what that kind of investment is looking for.
Thank you so much. One more question before we doubt fate. What makes a pitch memorable to investors beyond just having a beautiful slide? So, take for instance, though that what do they call the Lion's Den or something like that, right? So, what makes a pitch memorable beyond the slides, beyond the pitch deck?
Again, a number of things, right? I don't think it's ever just one thing. But I think the first thing I would say is, are you solving an actual problem,
right? This problem you've set out to solve, is it a real problem or is it an imagined problem, right? Are you coming to an investor saying, oh, I want to build like a nanny for dogs app, right? For them is, do we need that in Nigeria? Do you get? So it has to be, are you solving an actual problem? That has to be the first thing. Then for a lot of people, especially for a lot of investors, there's also storytelling, right? How are you able to like build tying storytelling into like this pitch deck, what you're telling them to invest in? So I'd say storytelling and just making sure it's an actual problem, because everybody here has talked about communication today. There's a way someone can communicate something to you and it sticks, right? You just get the point. There's another way that somebody can communicate it to you and you are like, it just sounds so high level and you don't really understand, right? So I would say if you're able to like break it down, like tell good stories about why this thing you're solving is important, that's also another thing that can make your pitch deck stand out.
Thank you so much. And I think that's very important because sometimes you just want to sound like you know it and use all the big words, exagorazo, agorazo, luxurious, and every single thing, but the audience don't understand. So basically, how we portray the story is more important, is as important as even the story we're trying to tell. Okay, thank you.
All right, so we are back to career, and I have a question for Faith. I'm sure we've all been, well, most of us, we've been in phases where it seems like you are so pressured, right? And it's like everybody is like going ahead of you, right? Like sometimes, like I think Olaiwaju was mentioning, you open LinkedIn and you see, I'm happy to announce, I'm happy for this, I'm excited for this, all of that. And you just open it like, God, what am I doing in my life? Where's my life going? Sometimes it can be from family members as well, right? So the question I want to ask now is, how do you advise someone that feels pressured because everybody around them already seems ahead, right? How do you advise them, especially people at this stage where they're just trying to build themselves, build their career, their experience, their skills, but then everybody around them is like, you see your mates and all of that? Yes.
So much for the question. I want to share a personal story actually. So I work at BCG. I joined BCG 2021 and we joined as four. So there were four girls that joined the graduate training program. And as at 2023 or 4, I can't remember now, one of these years, at that point in time, every one of the people that joined, either, so there was someone that dropped off along the way, but basically one got promoted to consultant, the other was going for her MBA, and then Faith was just there, right? At that point, I was actually open for promotion, but I told you that there was an issue at work, so I wasn't promoted. And the way they do promotions at work is they'll come and announce, let's clap, this person is now this person is now this, and it was literally, okay, at least I should be going for MBA, I should at least just show sign of progress. And at that point, I was not like to you guys, I felt like resigning. I was just like, this is the end of the world, right? But how exactly did I navigate that whole season of your mates are going ahead, either they are now promoted or someone is going for MBA or just someone is, people are making progress? I literally asked God the question of, should I do? Because it was an option. Like if I was considering, what will people say? Oh, your mates are now ahead of you. It's like you want to run away from the problem. That's always your first reaction. Or go to hide somewhere, or go somewhere where nobody knows you, so no one is comparing. And I did not feel it in my spirit that God wanted me to do. So I was like, okay, stay there. And it was actually at that point that I now took YouTube and teaching career to youths and graduates. Like that was when I had to be serious. I'm not saying that it was because I didn't have a lot of work, because they did not promote me, that I did this, but I think my ability to say, I may not know what next to do, but I'm not going ahead. I'm not just rushing into something else because I want everybody to just see me in a particular kind of way. So staying in the will of God
and then opening myself up to, okay, I may not necessarily be good at this. What am I good at? I like teaching, I like helping people, and then honing down on it. And now I may not have my MBA, I've been promoted, thank God. But I would say I have more fulfillment now as a person versus if I would have been promoted then. Do you understand? So your ability to always, ask yourself, you are comparing yourself with this person, but if you were really, like, if you actually got that job, really, really make you feel happy, right? Ask yourself these tangible questions and then not going outside the will of God. So how do you navigate it? Ask God questions, does answer. Then number two, really asking yourself, what do I even need to do that will take me closer to where I want to get to? And your ability to stay there and commit and grow that thing will make you stand out and make you shine much more than you comparing yourself with someone else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faith. So, yes, I mean, in that season of you feeling pressured, you feeling okay this, okay that, find what God wants for you in that season, right? Find what, okay, this season, what is God teaching me and what can I do in this season while you are making steps towards your goal. So I'm sure we have, received some insight concerning that. The next time you feel pressured, I mean, use the pressure to propel you, but not to propel you outside of the will of God. Praise God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Faith. Should I ask another career question or you go business? All right. I want to know about rejections. How many of us have gotten rejections before? You've been rejected. One job, one this. Yes, I have as well. I want to know, when do you know it's time to move on, or maybe it's time to, or how do you balance knowing, okay, this is the time to move on, or maybe I am not doing something right, I need to push into this. So for example, maybe as Adesoa said, right, she was a project manager, right, or product manager, yes, and she, let's say she kept applying for that, nothing. Meanwhile, every other person, oh, everybody is getting that role, but she's not getting that role. At what point is it like, okay, I don't think this is made for me, I think I should go into something else, I think I should start a business, or I think I should start applying for another, a totally different role, right? Or at what point, like, or like, is it going to be about that, or is it going to be about, okay, I need to still push into this? So how do you get that balance?
I think the first thing I would say is ask yourself questions, or ask the people rejecting you questions. So imagine you applied for a job and you didn't get, like, you basically were rejected. Ask yourself why, right? If it's an organization that allows you to engage with the recruiter, then you ask okay, why? Like, is there a reason why? Most organizations will say, this is an automated email, don't respond, da 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 da. But then, ask yourself questions why, and then ask someone that knows the answer. A good practical tip is, if you apply to any organization and you get no, find someone that works in that organization and say, I applied, I did not get in, I want to understand why. The reason you're understanding why is because it helps you answer the next question of, do I want to stay here or do I want to move on? Because if, let's say, you're a graduate and you apply for a job, let's say you graduated with a 2-1, and you apply for a job that they only take first class graduates, like, regardless of your trying again, the door is actually closed, right? So it's wisdom for you to find out something else. But if you apply and they say, oh, it's because your CV it's not a good fit for the culture of the firm. The culture of the firm is, we like collaborative people, we like people that bring in teamwork, and you didn't highlight that in your CV, then it's an easy solve. You go again in your CV, you make the change, right? So you need to ask yourself the question of, from my own point of view, is there something I did wrong? Or if you don't know the answer, ask someone that works there. The person can give you better insight on what to do.
And then based on the answer you get, you can now decide if you want to continue or you want to move on. I'll say something else again. Destination is very important. So I was graduating from uni. I did not know what, like, I literally, me hearing myself now, I realized I actually don't really know what to do most of the time. But all I knew was I actually wanted to work in a multinational. I don't care if it's oil and gas, if you are selling chin chin, so far you're a multinational company, I want to work with you. That was it. And so I applied to several companies with a lot of rejection. But then thank God BCG came through. Now there are so many people that will come to say, okay, Faith, I want to work in a multinational as well. But then the market is much more competitive. So what made me get into BCG maybe it's not available for you again. Ask yourself, like I said, your top 10 companies. If BCG does not work, what's my next? If BCG does not work now, does not mean BCG will not work 2 years from now. Does not mean BCG will not work 3 years from now. So always ask yourself, something does not work. Well, okay, what's my tier 2 company? What's my tier 3 company? And then in your tier 3 company, if when you eventually get it, don't lose sight of your tier 1 company. Now ask yourself, what do I need to do in my tier 2 company that will eventually take me to my tier 3 company or my tier 1 company? Right? So the fact that you did not get into Shell today, maybe you need to start with a smaller oil and gas company where you are learning the technical things, where you are positioning yourself better, and then apply for Shell in 2 years' time. But the fact that you didn't get into Shell, or you didn't get into KPMG, or you didn't get into any of the banks or whatever thing it is you want to do, doesn't mean it's not still for you in the future. It might need that maybe you need to train yourself in a maybe smaller place where there's less, competition. Build your credibility, build your skills, build your expertise, and then reshoot. And you see that, the story will be different. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Faith.
Okay. So I think for different people, I don't think there's a perfect answer to this because we all have peculiar situations. But I think there are two ways I'm currently thinking about. You can just examine your own situation and apply it accordingly. The first one is there's a scripture I like in Judges, right? Can you hear me now? So there's a couple of chapters I like in the book of Judges where a man and a woman are traveling, right? And while they are traveling, they get attacked. And one of the tribes of Israel, they defile the woman, they end up killing her. Then the man that she was traveling with then goes to the other tribes to report what this tribe has done. And they all go to seek the face of God to say, God, should we go to war against these people or should we not go to war? And God said, go to war against them, right? Then they go to war against them. And the first time they go to war against this particular tribe that did this evil, they lose, right? They get killed, like a lot of their soldiers get killed. The tribe that did evil, they won. And they go back to God to say, they're crying and weeping, and it's a situation of, oh God, but you asked us to do this thing. Why did we lose? Should we go and fight again? And God says, yes, go out and fight again. They lose again. And they come back to God again in confusion. But God, you said we should go and fight this thing. You said we should go and do this thing. Why are we losing? Then God says, go again, for this time you will win. Then they go against that particular tribe, they fight, and that time they win. Right? Why did I share that? It's really, many times, like, you really just have to go back to God for leading. Right? You can try something the first time, it didn't work. Go back to God, like, should I do this thing? Should I move on? Should I continue? Right? And God speaks to us in several ways. You might have an idea, right? God may bring someone on your path that just makes things clearer, right? You may do things over and over and over again, but just make sure at every point you are going with God. You're asking God, should I go again? There are times God may say, oh, don't do this thing again. Right? I'm redirecting you to another path. In which case, you should now, in a sense, give up on that particular line of thought. So I think for me, this is like where being a Christian and having like a very personal relationship with God is important. Because many times like we really don't know what we should do. Should I continue? What if it's like the 999th time I try this thing that will work and I give up on the 998th time? Right. So always go with God and God will always lead you. The second angle I want to answer this question for is I mentioned earlier that there's a book I'm currently reading called Clear Thinking. It basically just teaches you how to make better decisions. And one of the things that the author Shane Parry shares in the book is many times we have like a binary thinking approach to life where it is either I keep doing this thing I'm doing or I stop doing it and I start doing another thing. But he's one of the things that he argues for in the book is many times to make the best decisions you have to go with a both and perspective where I'm going to keep doing this thing, but I'm also going to start trying something else to get a better result. And earlier when I was speaking, I shared that a lot where, okay, we're not giving up on the business, but we have to start trying another idea, right? We're not giving up on the business, but we have to go to another market and try out Ghana. So many times for our situations, it's not really a should I give completely and start another thing. It's usually how do I hold these two things in tension? How do I keep doing what I'm doing insofar as it's what you feel led to do in that time? And how do I start experimenting on another thing just so that I'm not whiling away time while this has been like within the 4 years?
Thank you so much, Faith, on this one. This is something why this question is very important, especially when the stand places. It answers questions like when to know when to leave an idea, to pursue an idea. Because I can tell you for free, this is actually a pain point. Because especially if you've founded a business before, if anyone has never told you this, it's like having a child. It's like saying when to leave your child or not to leave your child. Because it's true. One thing I think that this one mentioned is, and I've read over the years whenever we speak in secondary school, is the ability to put God in all situations. I'm telling you, there are, you know, when that was one of the reasons why I brought her here. The situations I know I found myself to in business, and I was just saying that story. I was like, so when this medicine, then I just said to just pray. God just said we should do it. I should do this on every single day. And this was one of the primary. She might not have said this, but I strongly think is one of the primary reasons that is killed. And just like what Faith was saying as well too, you just have to know what works, you know when to commit. So thank you, Faith. Thank you, this one. Also, please still write down your questions. We're almost done with the questions written down already. So this is questions to both of you, right? If you could, let's go back to your early 20s, what advice would you give yourself?
What advice would I give myself if I could go back to maybe a couple of years? I think it would be just like taking it one year at a time. Right? For sure, taking it one year at a time. Because I remember being very confused, right? So not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. Going to correct me if this thing that I'm currently doing is going to do
life and just things along those lines. I think I would encourage myself not to just take things one day at a time and just be grateful for where I am at each point and just do the best with what I have, the opportunities that present themselves to me at each point. I think that's
Before faith speaks, right? I think that we worry about God's plan more than we should for our lives. As you're just speaking, I'm reminded of, I remember when I was in my final year in university, the Lord is telling me to do about it. And I was thinking, I've always been an ambitious person. I was just thinking about, okay, once I leave school, what's the next one I'm going to do and everything. And I remember Matthew the 6th chapter, the 34th verse, the Holy Spirit is coming to us there. And he said, do not be weary of tomorrow, for tomorrow is sufficient to itself. The trouble of today is always backward. Whereby, especially around 18, 17 to early 20, 25, you're putting pressure on your life that nobody's putting pressure on you. you need to, some days you don't feel like eating, you're just burdened. No one is putting that burden of pressure. And I've realized that what that robs us of is the ability to look and see what God is currently doing in our lives and through our lives at a level of impact with God and to people. Because you want more, you lose the ability to see what you currently have and what God is currently doing. So I think one of the true marks of the goods fulfilling God's purpose is recognizing what is currently doing with you and appreciating it.
So just to add to that, you know how I said that what I would tell myself is to take it one day at a time, right? And maybe closely related to that is like also calm down, because I totally agree with what Pastor Ayo said, where many times like we so much believe that we are the ones guiding our own lives, right? But God is guiding our lives. First Kings 17, where Elijah God says, I sent you to this widow and I've instructed her to feed you. If you read First Kings 17 very well, you will see that God actually never spoke to him to say feed Elijah. But then God tells Elijah that I have instructed her to feed you. And that just reminds me of the fact of righteousness for everyone, right? Many times God may not be speaking to you, not saying no, do this and this and that. But your life by itself is ordered by God. God is bringing coincidences, people into your life, right? So yeah, for me, we take it by little, like calm down, God is right in front of you, God is in front of you, and that's what's what I'm saying.
In addition to what Pastor Ayo and Anissa said, two things that I would tell my younger self is never be too scared to fight a battle. Right? Especially in career, I've realized that if you run away from a fight, you live to fight another day. So if there's this big project and they're about to put you on and they're like, if I go there, I'll just disgrace my family and my generation. I promise you that if you run away from it, it will still come back to you in the future. And I've seen myself in the past like run away from a tough project or this like very good, there's smart people there, or I don't know. And in the future, it will now say, oh, you had the opportunity to go above or beyond yourself, or you chose not to. And I've also seen myself in recent times where I'm called to do something and I literally don't know how to do it. And I'll remind myself of the other one that I ran away from that came back to haunt me. Like, if I run away from you, now waiting for me 2027, so I'm like, I'll just deal with you now. And when I say that, and I know ultimately my strength comes from God, I just see God show up in ways I could never have thought. Like either He's giving me solid team members to work with, or just favor inside of the client, and ultimately, everything works out together. So, whatever challenge it is you're facing now, rather than running away from it
I would rather employ you to build capacity to meet up with that challenge. Because if you don't do it now, you will still do it. So far God has assigned it to you, you will still do it. Right? That's the first one I would say. The second one is closely related to it is everything that looks very big today. Your biggest problem today, in 2 years' time, you'll be wishing for God to give you that problem because you'll be like, why was passing WAEC such a big deal? Like now, the things in front of me are exceedingly abundantly above WAEC and JAM. Do you understand? So, whatever it is you feel like, oh, getting a job now, I promise you, getting a job as a single and dealing with your job, it's much easier than getting a job. Thank you. So, whatever it is that looks like the biggest challenge now, wait till you become a mother or a father of three with your children that want to go to Harvard and Oxford, right? So, just let's enjoy this season. It's very interesting. I know it's very like, how would the future sort out itself? But enjoy it, knowing that the responsibilities that are ahead of you tomorrow, you can't even begin to think of it. So, like, I would tell myself actually that this big thing is actually quite small compared to the capacity God has already given me, right? It's already inside of me. And number two, don't run away from the battle. You find it in the future. Thank you. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Faith. Thank you. That is well. You see, I'm reminded of 2020. I was in Ghana 8 years past. Thereabout, I can't remember. 19. And I was thinking to myself, Lord, I want to go to school. How do I make the next money and every single day? And then the Lord asked me a question. If you make a million, can you turn to, if you have a million, can you turn to 10 million? And my answer was no. And Jesus said to me, I gave 5 talents to to maximize 5 talents. I gave 2 talents to who could maximize 2 talents. And I gave 1 talent to who could not maximize 5 or 2 talents. When your time comes, your gift will make room for you. There are certain seasons you can be in, called preparation season, as we have it right now. You know, in theology, call it chronological season, whereby you're supposed to build the capacity required to be able to become the version of yourself or be able to take the responsibility required for you. And the problem is this: because of our idea or our desire or hunger for much more, we lose the ability to obey God in that season. Sometimes the season might be failure. Oh yes, I failed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes the season might be, how do you undo that? I remember when we were starting Zion, when we were starting the church, one of the things I told my wife, I sense in my spirit what I need to build capacity much more for right now is the ability to be able to handle big projects. Starting a church in less than a year and getting a space. It's not cheap. Are we together? But at the same time, I needed to, because the honest truth is, the spirit of the prophet is subjected to the prophet. God might want to do much more with you and every single thing. At the same time, you don't have the mind frame to be able to undo that. Imagine a crew right now. She said in December, she just thought to herself that, oh, we can try to expand to what was again? Cameroon and every single thing. And imagine if you don't think it's possible. You're not even thinking about learning French. You're not thinking that there are people in other countries or other states that require whatever skill or the gospel or whatnot. Do you understand what I'm saying? So building that capacity is very important. And sometimes, some seasons, whereby it looks like you're not making $1 million or you're not making the thing that you want, is still building that capacity required for that season that you're supposed to. Thank
you. And while they were speaking, I think I have a story to share as well. The God factor is always very important. While I think like 2 years ago at my current workplace, there was an opportunity for me to travel, right? And that was to South Africa. So I applied. I mean, it wasn't my first time traveling. So yes, there was no reason for my visa not to be given and all of that. My application, everything was good. I applied, it did not work. I think I applied again. I don't know how many times I applied, but it kept on just not working, and it kept on. It was like I was overdoing at this point because it was just not working, and they really wanted me to come and all of that. And I remember telling God that, God, I don't know why this is happening. I want to go. I don't know why this is happening, but if it is not your will for me to go, that's fine. And I leave it like that. Right. And about, I can't remember how long after I got another opportunity to travel somewhere else to Sydney, Australia. And that happened. And I think it was just up until last year, right? I was just thinking about it, and I was like, looking back, if I had now where I traveled to, I got um so much more exposure to opportunities, to people, right? And I was looking at it that if I had traveled then to South Africa, what I would not have been, because they would have joined me with that team. Now I'm working with this other team. I would not have gotten all of these things that were waiting for me. And as at then, it was looking like, why is this thing not happening? I had people that had gone to South Africa and all of that, right? And I think it's like sometimes when things are not working, also take it to God. Why is this not happening? Is it that you don't want this to happen, or is it that you want me to put in more? And when you have put in as much as you can, still take it to God, right? And trust God during that process. Afterwards, I was so happy, and I was so like, oh, thank God this did not work out. Even as that, then I really wanted it to work out. But yes, don't forget God during the process. Okay, that does not mean don't put in the hard work, but also take it to God and hear what He has to say during.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. There's one more question before we go into the audience question. How do you stay disciplined and consistent during seasons where results are not shown? So it's directed to you. How do you stay disciplined and consistent during seasons where results are not shown yet?
Okay, so with my own experience, I would say one thing that I can draw from it is the importance of community. Right. Earlier I said that sometimes you have a problem and you just believe that you're the only one having like the most unique in life. But one thing that really helped me when we were going through like difficult times was I was able to like talk to my co-founders. I was able to talk to like my previous employers. They also shared like issues that they had gone through, right? And one particular thing that gave me strength really was watching YouTube videos, interviews of like founders who are much ahead of me, who had gone through like their own like very difficult seasons and had come up. And that really just gave me a sense of, you know what, they came out of this, like I believe that I can also come out of this. So I think in like when you're going through difficult times, you have to like really guard your heart. Like what are you listening to? Are you feeding yourself with life-giving information? Are you surrounding yourself with life-giving people that just encourage you? That was like one thing that really helped me during like the difficult times that we went through. Again, like the more obvious one is like God, just just really praying to God and asking God to help me. I remember, so I have something on my notes app that happened one time where we're down to about 8 months of runway, right? And at this time, like there was really no hope of like where the money was going to come from. And I remember just being on my balcony one day, just like really telling God that, like, see what is happening. Like we are down to 8 months of runway. 8 months, if we don't raise money, like we can't become profitable. This company is going to have to die. And just while I'm praying, I just have this idea to turn it sideways. And it sideways is like the infinity sign. And for me, that just felt like I felt like God was encouraging me to say that, oh, like, don't worry about this thing that you're worried about. Like, it's going to be sorted. And that really gave me strength. And true to that, a few months after that, we then became profitable. And then about a year after that, we're not able to like raise the money that we wanted to raise. So I think like just
the God factor is like very important. Many of us we compartmentalize with God, where we talk to God about our spiritual growth. We talk to God about the fact that we want to win souls for Him and stuff. But God is also a God of the mundane. God is interested in the carnal things. When I say carnal things, I mean like everyday things, not like bad things. Right? God is also interested in like the everyday things. God wants to talk to you about your business. God wants to lead you with your business, right? So I think for me, that those were like two main things. Just surrounding myself with people who just gave me life and spoken to me and encouraged me, and also like going to God at each point where I got discouraged. And when God was encouraging me, He just gave me hope that there are better days ahead for us. I think for me, just to answer it briefly, I would, use the reference of Bishop Idoedepo. So basically, growing up, we had this encounter that says, so you look at yourself in the mirror and say, can a king go out like this? Can a priest go out like this? And even when you wanted to start the commission as well, we say, oh, I see a tent where there are so many people overflowing. So even before you start out anything, whether it's before you get a job or before you found your business or before you start anything, you've seen something, right? I'm a big fan of it. You have where you're going to. And so on days where the discipline is at an all-time low, consistency is, you just feel like I don't even have it in me to even show up the next day. I feel like at that point, be human and just pause on whatever it is you're doing. If you need, let's say, a break from work, pause, then always go back to what did you see, what's your why. This job, they just fired you, but does it on its own just like cancel out all the I set you before kings visions that you already have for your life? Does it already cancel out the you'll stand, you'll be a blessing to nations, you'll be a lender and not a borrower? Like, does it ultimately cancel out all the plans of God that you've read from your Bible? The answer is no. And so the fire and the fuel and the energy you need to show up the next day or come back is you holding on to your left hand or to your right hand, as you're about to say, all of the promises of God for you. And that, at the end of the day, is your ultimate picture. That, okay, my performance review at work may say that bottom 25% of my peers, but I know that what God has said to me, to be above only and not beneath, to be a solution to nations, to be a nation provider, right? And all of these things, I promise you, not losing sight of the promises of God for your life, will just give you the motivation to show up at work the next day. Will give you the motivation to say, okay, this project did not work out. What next? This thing did not work out. How do I keep moving forward? And I promise you, the one thing in this world that cannot fail is what? Is the word of God.
Can we have this video advice? Just to thank you so much, Adesua. Thank you, Faith, for this contributions. One I have realized, especially when you're trying to do something and you get to incredible variables. And it's not about anything else. Has anyone here watched the power? Anyone here watched the power? That's the good one. Okay, probably watched A-I-R-A. I don't know. So, start off. There are a couple of